Hi viewers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charles Space. In today's video we'll be making a beautiful shirt dress and we'll be using this material for the tutorial. Now if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell icon to be notified anytime I publish another video. Now in making the shirt dress, we need the length of the dress, and it will be a beautiful one that has a combination at the neckline and at the sleeve side. So we'll be working with the measurement, the bust measurement, the hips. If you want it to be an A-flay, it's up to you. If you want it to be fitted or straight, it depends on the way you want it. But this one we are making, it will not be too tight or too loose, to be normal. Now I will use this material for the tutorial. This is African fabric, so the length is normally 45 inches, so I'll be working with this length, 45 inches. First thing, we'll start with the front part, which it has a button from the neckline to down to the hemline. So I will fold it the way we will cut it now. Now because I want this pattern to be at the front part, so I'll concentrate on the pattern. I'll fold it this way. I'll be cutting the two pieces together. Now in making the shirt dress, you need an allowance of 1.5 inches for the folding. That is where the buttonhole will line in. So I'll fold in 1.5 inches. Fabric I'm using, I've already folded ½ inch, so I will mark only 1 inch, so that by the time I fold it, this is what I'll be having. It's already on fold, so I have to mark only, instead of marking 1.5 inches, I'll be marking 1 inch from the upper side to the lower side. If you want your own more than that, you can go ahead. If you want it to be 2 inches, you can go ahead and do that. Now I will join the lines together. We are done with the button side. Now from the line, I will now insert my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided into 2 will give me 8 inches. Then I will add ½ inch. That is 8.5 inches. This is 8.5 inches. Now I will use the same thing as the armhole, 8.5 inches. Now I'll mark 1 inch for the shoulder slant. Then from the slant, I'll measure 17 inches as my half length. Now under my armhole, I will now place my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 40 divided into 4 will give me 10. This 10 inches, I'll mark extra 2 inches, or you can make it 2.5 inches, depending on how you want it to be. If you want it to be fitted, you can go ahead and use 1 inch, but I'm using 2.5 inches. Now to my waistline, my waist measurement is 36 inches divided into 4 will give me 9 inches. This is 9 inches. Then I'll place my 2.5 inches here. Now to my hip line, from the waistline I'll measure 9 inches downward to get my hips measurement. Now my hip measurement is 41 inches divided into 4 will give me 10.2 inches. This inches, 10.2 inches plus 2.5 inches. Then I'll take it down to the hemline. Now that means what I have here is 13.2 inches. That's what I will be putting at the hemline. If it's to take an A line, you're not going to place your hip measurement. It's from the waistline. You determine, let me say I want it to be A line. I will place 15 inches. I want my own down part to be 15 inches. What I will do from the waistline here, I'll take it straight from waistline to the hemline. But if you don't want it to be an A line, you want it to be straight, that is from the hips there, which is 13.2, you have to place the same 13.2 at the hemline. So I'm placing the same thing, 13.2 at the hemline. So now I'll join the whole points together. So this is what I mean. This is the normal straight cut I want for this tutorial. But if you want it to be A line, as we measured 15 here, what you will do just from the waistline here, take it straight. You can see the difference from the waist to the hemline. But this one, because I needed the hip measurement, I don't want to make it an A line. That's why I'm working from the hip line. I want the lower part to be free. I don't want it to be pencil. That's why I'm working with the main hips measurement. So guys, we'll be cutting it out. But before I cut it, I will curve my armhole very well. You can go ahead. If you can't curve it with your free hand, you can go ahead and measure 2 inches or 1.5 inches. But remember, you come in a bit by ½ inch. So now cut it out. Okay, this is for the front piece. Now from the neckline, I'll measure 3 inches. Remember, my measurement starts from the line, not before the line. 3 by 3 for the front part. I'm using 3 by 3. You can make it 4. You can make, depending on how you want your own to be. I will not cut it now until I cut the back piece first, before I can cut out this. Now to the downside, I don't want it to have a curve. So if you want your own to have a curve, you can go ahead and measure 3 inches and slant it. But this particular one, I want it straight. So that's why I didn't bother to curve it at the down part. So if you want your own to be curved, you can go ahead and curve it the way you want it. Now we'll be cutting the second one. Remember, already the front part is having 2 pieces. That is, it has an opening. So we don't need any zipper again for the back. This particular dress I'm making will not be having that on the front or back. It's free. That's why I added 2.5. So what I will do now is to place the second one on the line. See this line? Let's notch it. I'll put a notch. So the second one will be placed exactly on. Remember, this one is serving as our button. So this one is not having any button or zipper. So I'll place it exactly on this line, so that, or if you want, you can go ahead and fold it. Or let's fold it so that you understand what I mean. Now I pin the side for the button. This is button side. This is 1 inch because it's already having folding, so that's why I folded in by 1 inch. So you can go ahead and fold either 1.5 or 2 inches depending on your choice. Now I will take it to place it exactly on the fabric. Remember, the back piece is not having anything like zipper, so I'll place it to align with the back piece. Then I'm cutting. Now we've gotten the front. This is the front piece and this is the back piece. Then to the neckline, remember we measured 3 by 3. Now to the back piece, I will measure 3 by 2 inches. This for the back, while this is for the front. Now I'm done with the body of the dress. It's now remaining the sleeve. Now the sleeve, I'll be folding it this way. To be having something like puff and a pencil at the mount. So I'll fold it this way. I'll measure 14 inches. This is 14 inches. Now the armhole we are working with here is, let me know how many it is. This is 10.5 inches. So I'll curve it to rhyme with that 10.5 inches. What I'll do now is to measure it. You can see that this is exactly 10.5 inches. So then I'll cut it. Then I'll place it to cut the other parts. Then I'll cut. Okay guys, we've gotten the 2 sleeves. I'll put a notch. So this is how the sleeve look like. Now this part of the sleeve, you can see that this place is pointed. I'll curve it so that it will be circular. I have to curve it this way so that by the time we sew it will be as a circular sleeve. Okay, I'll be using this for the down side of the sleeve. What I will do now is to measure out how many inches I want. The width will be 2.5 inches. It will be on fold. Now to determine the length, my round sleeve is 10 inches on this side. 10 inches, 10 divided by 2 will give me 5. Then I'll add extra 1 inch. Making it 6 inches or half inch for the join. Can make it 6 inches or 5.5 inches. Then I'll cut. So this is what we are having. So I'll cut this into 2, then I'll show you how you can use it on your sleeve. Now, this is what we are having. Now the way to sew it, I'll pleat this part to rhyme with this stretch fabric here that I cut. So I have to pleat it to be very full. You can see what I'm doing. This is how to achieve it. Make sure you pleat it to contain, this length will contain this side. So that's how to get it. The next thing is the neck side. It should be straight and it should be tied at the neck as a bow. So it's not a collar, it's just like a bow that will tie it at the neckline. So what I will do now is to cut the length I want that will be joined together. I'll be using 2 inches, that is unfold, making it, that is 4 inches. So to get the length I want, I'll be folding it this way. This will be 5 inches. Yes, what I have here is 5 inches. I've folded it into 2. It will be long, that's why I'm folding it into 2 like this. It will be a long one, so that by the time I cut it, I will divide this into 2 and join it. And after joining it, it will be as well folded again to get this particular length. That is what I want, that I'll be working with. This is 2.5 inches, whereby after folding in ½ inch at the end, what we'll be having for the collar that will be tied at the front side as a bow, it will be 2 inches. So now I'll cut this length. So the length I have here will be, this is 35.5 inches, or let's make it 35 inches, because the ½ inch will be folded in. Let's just make it 35 inches. This is 35 inches length. Okay, now I'll cut it out. Okay, now the next thing I will do is to divide it again. Now we are done. By the time I join it into 2, 35 plus 35 will give me 70 inches. So I'll join it at this edge to get a long piece that I want. And see that by the time I join it, it will be very long. So guys, we are done with the cutting part. Now let's go over to the sewing part. This is the back, while this is the front. You can see the front. I already hold it with a pin, so by the time you open it, that's how it will look like. You can see that. This is the front. So the first thing to do is very simple, depending on how you want it. If you want to use a lining, you can go ahead and line it very well. Or if you don't want to use a lining, you can go ahead, first hem the hem side by folding it. You can see one side of it. This is the front part of the dress that is being folded. Remember, for the button you need something like this. This is for the button. Firstly, you have to fold the button side. You sew it with a stretch stitch down to the hemline. The same thing to the other side. You have to sew it down to the hemline as well. And you go ahead and place your buttonhole. While placing your buttonhole, you can determine the length of your button, how you want it to be. Now you can decide to make it 5 inches. Like maybe you mark 5 here as where you want your button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on the number of buttons you want to make use of, 7, and 8, depending on the number of buttons you want to make use of. Remember, as you mark 5 inches for the button side as well, you mark 5 inches for the buttonhole, so that there will be no mistake, everything will align. As you are placing your button, it should rhyme with the buttonhole side. You as well go ahead and mark 5 inches on the other side where you place your buttonhole. That is for the button. Now, after the button, the next thing to do is to join the 2 shoulders. It's very simple. Pick one side of the shoulder to rhyme with one side of the back piece. This is the back piece. So you pick one side of this should rhyme with one side of this. You can see what I mean. You use 1/2 inch and join it. As you're joining this one, you as well joining the second one. You can see that. Very simple. You join the 2 shoulders together. After joining the 2 shoulders together, you can go ahead and join the 2 sides together. Place these 2 sides to rhyme on each other. You pick this side and one side of the back as well, and join it together. Remember, I told you it's not too tight, it's not too loose. So I used 2.5 inches as the allowance. So I'll be sewing with only 1/2 inch. The 2 inches will be it will be for ease. So I want it to be free. I don't want it to be tight. So I will use 1/2 inch. Join the 2 sides as well. You pick the other side and join. You join it with 1/2 inch. Depending on if you want to use 1, you can go ahead and use 1 inch. That is for the main body of the dress. Now, when you are done with the main body of the dress, the next thing you'll be looking at now will be the sleeve. Now to the sleeve, remember, this is the right placing for the band. This is the band for the, so this is the right placing. What you will do now is when you are sewing it, first you take the front part should rhyme with the front part of the sleeve. Now this is the front part of the sleeve. Now you plaint, can go ahead and plaint. So we'll be plainting it to rhyme with the length of the band. Now to make it easier for you, what you will do to notch the middle point. Remember, for you not to be doing it repeatedly, notch the middle point. As you are plating, you'll be checking the length. so that it will rhyme properly with the length. And as well, the middle point of your sleeve, let it rhyme. It will be easier, so that you may not be wasting time in plaiting several times. Now, by the time you fold it, this is what we'll be having. You can see that. So what you do now is to go ahead and sew it with your sewing machine. Sew it straight. Then what you would now do after sewing it, you then bring the front up like this and fold it in and cover it up like this, like so. You can see that at the end, this is what we'll be having as the band of the sleeve. Understand? By the time you do it, this place, the puff will come out very beautiful. So by the time you are done, you attach it. When you are done with the two sides, after sewing, what you will now do is to attach the sleeve with the other side, attach it to the body of the dress. Okay guys, we are done. Now from the armhole, you attach the sleeve. Guys, we are really done. It's very simple. This dress, you can make it within 30 minutes. Now to the neckline. Remember, we are using this as our bow. So what you do is just to join it together. After joining it, the next thing is to fold it in like so. Fold it in. Just pick 1/2 inch and fold it in. And while you are doing that, you mark your neckline, measure it. That is after you have joined all the bodies together. After joining the neckline together, you measure it out, determine the length. By when you have already joined this side, you now know where the neckline will stop. Remember, the joining at this point will rhyme with the joining at the neckline. You notch to know the middle. Okay guys, you can see I'm done with the dress as I explained. This is the front part. This is the pockets for the dress. And this is the sleeve. I showed you how to fix the sleeve, the puff sleeves. And now the last part is to show you how to fix the neck. Now this is the neck, and remember, it's a button shirt. This is the side, two open sides for the front part. Remember, your button should be at the right side, while the buttonhole should be at the left side. Now this is the back side of the dress, while this is the front side of the dress. Now this is the neck region, and I have to fix this at the neckline. Remember, it should be tied as a bow at the front part. So what I will do here now, first to notch the center of the neck. I'll put it together like this and determine the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. I will notch it. Now this is the midpoint at the back. So it should rhyme with this joining, because the two pieces, I joined them together for it to be long. So I will make use of this midpoint at this point, and now merge it to be at the midpoint. Now I will use my pin to hold it together to make sure the two midpoints are together. Then as well, I will use pin and hold it to determine where the neckline stopped. So I will first of all use my pin before I go to my sewing machine to sew it. I'm done with this side, so I have to pick the second side and pin it as well. Now I'm done with the neckline. What I will do now is to go to my sewing machine and take it 1/2 inch and join it together. I'll first go to my sewing machine and attach and sew this side with 1/2 inch before I can then flip it over and sew. So we'll start with this side first. I'm done with the sewing. So the next thing I'll do is to remove my pin, then I'll sew the remaining part. Now the next thing I'll do is to fold it in with 1/2 inch again. I'll make sure that the front midpoint and the back midpoint meet together. Then I will still use my pin to hold it. I'll now use 1/2 inch, fold it in by 1/2 inch to cover it up. The same thing to this side. I will use 1/2 inch to cover it up. Then the same 1/2 inch, that's what I will use to fold this side. Fold this side with 1/2 inch and the other side with 1/2 inch. But let me show you the neck. When I'm done with the neckline, then we'll concentrate on the longer part of it. So I will still use my pin to hold it together to make sure everything is aligned. Okay, now I'll go to my sewing machine and sew through and stop here first before I can then sew the other side. Now I've sewn this side. The next thing I'll do now to remove my pin. Now the last thing to do is to close this part up. We are done with the dress. So I'll go to my sewing machine and sew this side and the other side. The sleeve. This is the side pockets. The 2 side pockets. This is the back side. This is the neckline. I hope this video is helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell icon to be notified anytime I publish another video. Join me on my Facebook group at Elegant Styles and Tutorial for different styles of your choice, both English, African styles, kids style, any style, even men's styles is there too. So guys, drop your comments at the comment section and give it a like, share to your friends. Bye.